The Global Initiative report says the East and Southern African region serves as a thriving source for a wide variety of illegal commodities. The report says international criminal syndicates operate from the shores of Somalia to border crossings and international air and sea points in Ethiopia, Kenya, and South Africa, among others. Institute for Security Studies Willem Els joins us now for more. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Els. Thanks very much for your time. A scathing report. In fact, I was shocked by some of the detail, the connections that are being made, and just how vulnerable our country is.
Good afternoon to you. Yes, you know, what we see, what these criminal syndicates are using, they make use of a route, a trade route that's been there for more than 1,000 years, and that is the Swahili coast trade route from Somalia actually up to Yemen, and then all the way down to around about Inhambane in Mozambique, and they have been trading with their dhows for hundreds of years, but also they are now being targeted by your criminal syndicates to use that route and to use their commodities in order to smuggle your heroin, your methamphetamine, and other drugs, but also weapons and other illicit goods. And the challenge that we sit with that is the porous borders along these coastline make it just so much easier for the criminals to move.
But one would have thought, and especially since you're saying that, I mean, this is an old route. What is making it difficult to actually stop this?
It makes it difficult because, you know, for instance, from Mozambique up to Somali, those traders speak the same language, and that is Swahili. So they've got a common language. They can understand each other, but also because of their business links and their intermarriage and everything else, you know, it's like a whole separate community that has been established along the eastern coast of Africa. And what these syndicates now do is they pounce into them, and of course they got lots of money, and it becomes a lucrative business for these traders to augment their earnings.
What was also interesting for me was how minerals, gold in particular, gets moved from our mines and of course Zimbabwean mines, and how that is also happening quite brazenly.
It does, you know, especially with the price of gold at 3,500 per fine ounce at the moment is the highest it's ever been. So that makes it very lucrative for these people to smuggle with it. And of course, you know, our porous borders doesn't help a lot. And remember, our borders are not only porous because we don't have enough manpower, enough equipment there. It is also extremely porous because of the susceptibility of corrupted people, especially in power there. Your customs, your police, your military, your immigration people, all of them are being compromised by these syndicates, and that makes the movement of all of these commodities very easy for them.
And I suppose, I mean, the chaotic state that most of our members of our criminal law enforcement agencies are in a bit of a mess doesn't help either.
It does, you know, and it starts with your intelligence. Your crime intelligence is lacking. We've got the top structure of the intelligence, crime intelligence in South Africa has been arrested. They currently facing charges. You see the former national commissioner is now being charged. And we see even from the day Jackie Selebe took the reins at the South African Police Service, we see that there's been a steady decline in the police service, steady decline in numbers, steady decline in competency, steady decline in also resources. So, and now of late also morale, because, you know, if you're a police officer and you have to work under these circumstances, you got leaders that you cannot look up to. It really creates serious challenges for law enforcement in South Africa.
One doesn't want to be alarmist, but I mean, when such reports emerged and you realize how much of a trouble we are in, one can't help but say, slowly but surely, we are seem to be moving towards being a failed state.
Exactly. You know, if you look at the pillars, the different pillars of a functioning state, you see that the law and order of a pillar is one of the strongest pillar that needs to be there in order to keep that roof atop. But the problem when your law and order and your rule of law pillar starts to disintegrate, that's what's happening in South Africa, it will bring the other pillars down as well, and so the roof will cave in. And then we will descend into a failing state situation.
Willem Els, let me thank you very much for your time and insight. Quite a scary report to read indeed, given it really doesn't speak well of our country and how it is being run.